Welcome to this edition of Miles Ahead, and this time we're looking at arguably one of the most important cars of the 21st century, the Tesla Model 3, bringing the EV revolution to the masses. But is it any good? Well, let's have a quick look round. I mean, looks-wise, I quite like it. I mean, it's not ugly to look at. It's a bit more subtle than the Model S and the Model X before it, and you know, this is what it is. If you like looks, you like looks. This one comes with the 18-inch wheels. You can upgrade those to 19s for £1,500. And I should say that this is the dual motor, long range, all-wheel drive, 0 to 60, 4.2 seconds. So if you're looking for a bit of extra punch, this starts at £48,990. But let's have a quick look round. So it being a Tesla, you don't get a key. You can unlock it with a key card or with the app, and the door handles are the wrong way round as well, just to be different. So come around, you've got a nice sloping roof line, beautiful panoramic roof actually, which we'll see a bit more when we get to the interior. And just to round off the exterior view, you get this massive boot, loads of space in there to fit all your essentials in, and you can pop your charging cables and all that sort of jazz in the well there as well. But anyway, let's see what it's like inside. So we'll have a quick look at the rear seats. Plenty of space in here, loads of headroom, ISOFIX for your child seats, although one annoying point to note is if you don't put the seatbelt in as well, it doesn't recognise the ISOFIX plugged in, so it thinks there's someone sitting in the back without a seatbelt on. You've got an armrest, you've got a couple of speakers, a couple of heating vents and 2 USB-C chargers as well. But let's have a look in the front. So there's loads of space up front here. It's nice and airy. The panoramic roof adds to that sensation, and there's loads of storage space. You've got 2 wireless phone charging ports here. There's a really deep storage bin in the middle here that you can get loads of stuff in, and there are 2 USB-C charging points in there as well, 2 cup holders, and then another storage bin in here with loads and loads of space in it. So to get the car started, you have to put the key card on there, then press the brakes. That's one point to note. And to open the glove box, you do that via the centre screen there, and again, loads of space. There's a real absence of physical buttons in here. This really is the centre screen, and this is the mothership, the motherboard of this car. The only buttons are one to open the door and the buttons to do the front and rear windows, and that's it. Everything else is controlled through here. And I mean, as you'll have seen, there's plenty of cool features in here. So it's got entertainment, it's got a whole host of games. You can play a spot of chess, asteroids, beach buggy racing, which you use the steering wheel and brake pedal for. So that's, you know, keep yourself entertained while you're charging up. And this toy box has got some funny little elements in here. So like, make it sound like someone's farted. My son, who's 3, thought that was hilarious. Me, 36, also found it funny. And there's the romance section here. If you're with someone you want to spend a bit of time with, get the old log burner going, and sketchpad for drawing on. You can turn the car into a sleigh, Rainbow Road, Mars. So, you know, it does lend, you know, sort of fun character to this car, which you don't find in any other car. So that's really quite unique to this Tesla, I think. But anyway, let's see what it's like to drive. So what's the Tesla Model 3 long range like to drive? Well, it's actually okay. I mean, the cabin's nice and airy and spacious, and this is actually a very nice place to be. If you were doing long journeys, which you could because it's a long range, you know, you'd be very happy in here. The Autopilot stuff works pretty well. The distance, the adaptive cruise control basically works. It's supposed to have this enhanced auto cruise control, which is supposed to change lane for you and all that sort of stuff, but that doesn't really seem to work, and that's a £3,500 extra. Now I think that's something that you could probably do without. In fact, you could take that £3,500 and give it straight to your local food bank. Do that, be a better use of your money. But you know, you get a flavour for what the future's going to be like with these cars, and it's not too bad. It's not a car that rewards you for driving quickly. I mean, it is quick. I mean, the 0 to 60, 4.2, 4.3 seconds. I mean, no getting away from it. That is a good 0 to 60 time, and the all-wheel drive kicks in well there. And we'll just give it a go. Everything gets thrown back, and it does just take off. And you know, there's enough traction there. You never feel the wheels spinning up or anything like that. It does pick up really well. But like I say, it's when you get up to high speeds, when you're on the country roads and in that sort of setting, that it's not really this car's natural environment. get the impression this car's very much made for city driving, and in that environment it excels, because you've got easier access to charging. And if your only sort of driver racing is going to be traffic light races, then you know the Tesla really does hit the mark with that sort of stuff. You do get a really brisk turn of pace away from the line, so in that setting it's great. I mean, out on B roads and that sort of things, you get the nice flowing undulating roads, it does struggle a little bit, and I think the primary reason for that is there is zero feedback to the steering wheel. It is like a computer game steering wheel. It's just, yeah, you get no sense that it's connected to anything. I mean, it's reasonably accurate when you get going, and you know it works. But I mean, that's about all you can say about it. You get no feedback through it at all, and that's a bit of a shame. But I mean, if Tesla are serious about taking on BMW and the M3s and the C63s and the Audi RS5s and all that sort of stuff, then that's something that they're going to have to sort out. But I mean, otherwise, if you're not that bothered about driving quickly, which you know not everyone is, if you're not that bothered about an engaging driving, you just want comfort and you want style and you want sophistication, then this experience really does hit the mark. I mean, like I say, it's a lovely place to be in here. I mean, the sound system's excellent as well. It's just really simple and straightforward to use. And you've got the massive screen in the middle here, and everything's controlled on that. So for first time drivers, it does take a little bit of getting used to, because there's no conventional dials in front of the steering wheel there, and it could really, or it would really benefit from a head-up display on the screen to let you know how fast you're going, because you are sort of looking across, and the first couple of times you drive it, it does just take a little bit of getting used to see where the speedo is. And it's intelligently placed on the screen in that you can see it straight here in front of you. We're doing 35 miles an hour at the moment, and it's very easy to see. And engaging the Autopilot is very easy as well, and all of that sort of stuff is good. The one pedal driving in this, they don't give you any options to change that, so you have to go with the factory setting. It's that or bust, and you know that works reasonably well. It doesn't slow you down too much at motorway speed, so once you're doing 70 it doesn't really slow down. It's not until you get down to sort of 50 or 40 miles an hour that the regenerative braking does actually, you know, you can really feel it interfering with the process. I mean, other than that, there's not really a great deal to mention about the drive. It's quick off the line, but you knew that. Every other video in the world has covered the fact that it's quick off the line. And yeah, the steering's a bit numb. Well, it's very numb. I mean, there's no steering feedback whatsoever. But you know, the rest of the setup is really good. It's really comfy in here, and it's nice. It's got nice little touches, like on the app. You can just go on that before you set off, and you can set your heated seats up and all that sort of thing, and you know you're ready for the drive ahead. I'll mention the charging at this point as well. So I took it up to Heathrow Terminal 5. There's a charging point at the Hilton Hotel there. They've got a bank of 24 superchargers, and that was really simple, really straightforward. Once you plugged into the account, because this is a press car, it's plugged into Tesla's account, so it just turned up, plugged it in, bam, off you go. So I imagine from an ownership perspective, you set that up once and then that's done. That was really easy, and that it really is where Tesla is streets ahead of their EV competitors, and that supercharging network just takes range anxiety completely out of the equation. And we were actually talking to a guy there, and it's quite a sociable experience in many ways. We were talking to a guy there who he tried to drive to Greece in it last summer, and he got as far as Albania, but he made it to Croatia on the Tesla supercharging network, and then was just using the 2-point pins the rest of the way. And he works as a taxi driver, lives in a second floor flat, and he's never had any problems with the range anxiety. So again, it comes back to that sort of city living. If you live in a sort of urban environment and you've got access to the charging, this car makes a lot of sense. I'd still suggest if you're out in the countryside, sure, you can put a wall box on at home, but you're not really going to enjoy the driving as much in that setting because of the nature of this car. But for city and urban driving, I mean, this model at £48,000, if you need the all-wheel drive dual motor, 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, and that makes sense. But otherwise, the standard range, which is just rear-wheel drive only, comes in at a lick under £41,000 if you don't get the Autopilot and you don't get the sports wheels at £1,500. And that really does start to make a lot of sense, because there are some great tax incentives for driving the electric vehicles only. And given the status of the network that Tesla had, it does just edge them ahead of the competition. We reviewed a Polestar 2 on the channel recently. I'd argue that Polestar 2 is slightly better to drive as a driving experience, but it's also £5 more than the standard range. It was £45,000 with the performance pack, nudges it up just above £50,000. Is it £5 better? I mean, that's debatable. and the charging network again, you know, is just not as good as the Tesla is. So I think, you know, at the standard range, I think that's probably going to be the pick, the rear wheel drive. It still does 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds, and doing 0 to 60 in 4.3 is great, but I mean, it's something you're going to get pretty bored of pretty quickly. It's just a party piece, really, same as the enhanced autopilot is at the moment. I mean, if you've still got to indicate and start the steering wheel to make a lane change, then I mean, you might as well just put the indicator on and do the lane change yourself. I mean, it doesn't really make sense having a computer take over that for the cost of £3,500. But you know, you can see the future in this car, and if they sort out the steering and they can add a bit more engagement, then it's going to be a little something for everyone in this car going forward. And yeah, you know, I can see why a lot of people rate this car really highly. It's very useful, it's very accessible, so easy to drive. I mean, that really has to be highlighted finally. You know, it really is such an easy, accessible car. So if you're not that bothered about driver engagement and, you know, hitting B roads up at maximum speed, then there's nothing holding you back from getting one of these at all. It's a really, really good car. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, if you did like it, please subscribe to the channel. We've got loads more. We've already done loads. We've got a few more cars coming up. We've got a Jeep Renegade 4xe, we've got an Alfa Romeo Stelvio, we've got an Audi RS6, we've got a Bentley Bentayga, and then later in the summer we're hoping to have the Aston Martins DBS and DBX as well. So we're talking to plenty of other people about other cars as well. So yeah, there's plenty coming up on the channel. So yeah, please subscribe, and hopefully see you again soon. Thanks.